We have a $25 donation from Clovis Bray that says, status, Calamitous. Good luck to the runners on this Deep Stone Crisp speed run from a while ago. Another one of the great runs we've been seeing here at GDQ all week. And folks, with that, it is time. It is time for Vanquish, run by DECosmic. Folks, you are in for a treat. This is quite a run. DECosmic, good luck and take it away.
So welcome to Vanquish. My name is DECosmic. We'll be running on any % casual with DLC. We'll get into what that actually means in a moment. I'm also joined by my wonderful couch if they would like to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm bryonato. I am not familiar with this run, but as usual, I am super stoked to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Cosmic. I'm really happy to watch this. So yeah, let's go.
Hey there, I'm Demonic Robots. I'm going to be helping explain some of the tech and the story for this game because it's a little hard to keep track of everything, but yeah, can't wait to see how this goes.
All right, so first things first, we are Sam doing Sam things. The character's name is Sam Gideon that we'll be playing. So the time is going to start when I skip the first cutscene. So I'll do a countdown here in 3, 2, and 1, start. So welcome to Vanquish again. We are Sam Gideon, a super soldier wearing the augmented reaction suit. We're crash landing on a sort of like moon colony after San Francisco has been destroyed by the Order of the Russian Star. And we can slide around because of this cool suit that we have on. So we're gonna go ahead and slide on over here, grab this little thing that we'll explain in a second. And then we're gonna head on up here. Take this guy out. He's looking a nice guy. So we're gonna actually be fighting robots and stuff. It's pretty cool. Demonic, you want to explain what the heck's going on over here, man?
Yes, so basically what happened is, like Cosmic said, San Francisco got completely destroyed by the microwave energy array. That's going to be this kind of colony that we're going to be invading right now since it was taken over by the Order of the Russian Star. They aren't the Russian government, but they're kind of close enough to it that they are an opposition force, and as you can see, they have a lot of robots and a lot of firepower. So Sam, along with a bunch of Marines, was brought in order to do a couple things. One was to stop the energy array and make sure that they don't destroy New York, as they threatened to do that unless, and I quote, the United States had their complete unconditional surrender.
Yeah, so the heat gauge that we're going to be getting into, you want to explain the heat gauge actually? I heard you go.
Yeah.
We're going to go for that. Yeah.
So if you see in the bottom right hand corner, we have a weapon system that's going to show all of his weapons and his nades, and under that is a green bar. That is going to be his heat gauge. Essentially, it is very similar to Master Chief's shield, where once it runs out, he will be vulnerable and he can only take a couple more hits before he dies. However, the heat gauge is not just a health bar, it also is like an endurance bar. So you can see it going right down. Whenever he is doing that slide, it's going to be using some of his heat gauge. And if it runs out completely, Sam's suit will overheat, and again, he'll be vulnerable and not be able to do anything that uses the heat gauge, like slide around. So a lot of the run is going to be him basically maintaining that heat gauge and not using too much of it. So it's kind of like with Dark Souls with the stamina. He's going to be using almost all of it and then letting it recharge some, and then he's going to be doing that for a majority of the movement tech.
So just so I understand... I was going to say, just so I understand, the heat gauge is both kind of a health resource and an energy resource, like combined?
Correct.
Okay.
So the first thing that we're going to be doing here is also just using some melee dash cancels that we did a little bit earlier, which you can actually cancel all the melee attacks in this game into a dodge. And the dodge, you know, it just allows you to just move around a little bit smoother. And where is this guy actually at? Hold on, where did he go? Yeah, that's fine. I'll just sacrifice one shot there. That'll work. That didn't even work. But we're going to take out these dudes too here with the walker. And then take out the transport. They're going to send in some more dudes over here. Excuse me, sir.
It also doesn't actually use the heat gauge when he does that melee dash cancel, so it's a viable alternative if you don't actually have any heat gauge to use.
Yeah, the only thing is that you don't want to use it while enemies are around, because Sam will auto-target enemies, and if he hits an enemy with a melee attack, because his suit is a prototype suit, it's not like totally finished, there's some kinks that need to be worked out. it'll actually overheat his suit immediately if he does the melee attack. So we don't want to do the melee dash cancels while there are enemies around. We just want to save those for when we're just doing like free movement, essentially. Next, what we're going to be doing is going over to this turret right here. And we're going to be taking out these 2 drop ships. This is one of the things that we do in this game to make a lot of the fights faster, is we just prevent enemies from spawning in. And both of these transports actually hold enemies. So we don't want to fight any of them. We'd have to go down there and just not have a nice time. After they're all dead, I'm going to go ahead and set up for the boss here in a second. This is called the Argus Core. And this boss has 2 phases to it. So first, we're going to just take out the red dot here. Hold up. Oh my goodness. Come on, dude. There we go. All right, so now that this thing is kind of transforming into its second form, I have some time to grab some drops here, which are RNG. And I'm gonna stand over here because I want the Argus Core to turn to its right so that I can hop on this turret. This is totally random if I actually get this quick kill here, because if like these big energy waves will come out after I destroy the arm, and if one of them hits me, I get knocked off the turret. So let's just hope that that doesn't happen.
Fingers crossed for good RNG. Let's see.
Oh, that looks good, right?
That's good. Got it.
Nice.
Excellent. Then we're just going to grab this upgrade cube here. Demonic, do you want to explain upgrades in this game?
Yes, so the upgrades are not going to be for Sam's suit or anything like that. In fact, they're actually going to be for the weapons. So every single weapon is going to have its own individual kind of upgrade system, the stars and stripes, and each of them are going to be individually ranked from each other. So you're going to see a lot of upgrade cubes around. We're going to be wanting to upgrade specific weapons, and when you upgrade them, they get specific bonuses towards them depending on the weapon. So like they might get cooldown reduction, or they might get max ammo capacity, something along those lines. Cosmic is going to be focused mainly on upgrading a weapon called the anti-armor pistol. Now I know the name pistol is in there, but trust me, this is more than a pea shooter. This weapon is actually insane in this game.
Yeah, the anti-armor pistol is actually the reason that this category is called with DLC, because that weapon is DLC, but it comes with the PC version of the game. So it's so strong that we needed to separate out categories for it. We're also going to use grenades now. We're going to slow down some time, blow up all these guys with a grenade.
That was cool.
And if you actually shoot the grenades in this game, it will increase the area of effect. Oh my goodness.
Whoa!
Gauge.
It's a very stylish game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Our objective here, by the way, is to free these dudes that are just around here. There we go.
It should be also worth mentioning that Sam's suit is able to get into a slow motion mode. It does use his heat gauge though, so again, he has to balance it out with that. But it's not something that he can just turn on with the press of the button. It's not like press X and everything goes into slow mode. He actually has to trigger it with some very specific flashy movement, like vaulting over cover or doing it out of a dodge roll, stuff like that. So to do that, along with timing the grenade throws, it's actually a lot harder than Cosmic is making it look.
Yeah, what a fun movement sandbox this looks to be.
It's so great, dude. So the first thing that we're gonna do here is this is a section where we actually have to kill every enemy in the vicinity, and we want to make sure that we do this just because, especially because not only will it progress the mission, but we really don't want to take damage, because even though this is on casual, these enemies still kind of hit hard. So we want to just make sure that we take out as many damage sources as possible while we're doing that. Oh, there's the sniper that
I noticed you frequently checking these, like, I don't know what else I call them, these loot boxes. Like, what are you looking for, something specific in these boxes?
Yeah, so I'm actually looking for, it dropped there in a second here, so let me actually, what are you doing, bud? Don't do that, anyway. So I'm looking for this weapon specifically, the sniper rifle.
Okay, that's convenient.
This is the best movement weapon in the game. And we'll see in a second here when we do the dash cancels and stuff with it. But the sniper rifle, even though it kind of behaves like it's from a different game entirely, it's definitely not suited to more of the fast-paced action that we got going on. It does have the fastest melee dash cancel in the entire game. So a lot of this run is based around having this guy's really gonna, oh my goodness, he's feisty. It's really going to be based around these 3 weapons that we have on us right now. The anti-armor pistol, the assault rifle, and the sniper rifle. We're also going to do this right here.
And so your melee animation will change based on what weapon you have out?
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is very weird considering the fact that a majority of the melee animations are Sam either punching or kicking just in a slightly different way. So I don't know why he needs a sniper rifle in order to do that super high kick, and he can't just like do that with, I don't know, with the assault rifle. But I don't know, maybe Sam just, he needs to be flashy.
The animation is so over the top. I love it.
It's so good. This is also a good time where we're going to see the lock-on laser here. This is the only time we'll see it in the run. This is a good time to mention that this game was developed for consoles and designed for controllers. Bryo, you probably noticed immediately that in the bottom right-hand corner there, it looks like a D-pad, right?
Yeah, that is very much like a D-pad selection wheel down there. It looks straight out of something like Gears of War. Yeah.
So we're going to use that to just clear out this area here. And now that it's clear, we're going to head on to, with this cool roundhouse kick here.
Is this faster than doing the slide?
This is, yep. This is the fastest form of movement in the entire game.
Wow.
We're going to take this out. Oh my goodness, that tank did a lot of damage. I should have just focused that first. That's fine.
So,
and
what?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, I was just gonna say, so what happened right there is Cosmic actually got stunned. So even though he didn't actually like lose his heat gauge, he took enough damage that his suit kind of freaks out and everything goes into slow motion as it slowly drains it. So he's gonna be trying to avoid that later on because it's essentially almost like getting stun locked, since it just completely messes up your movement and it slows the game down so you don't move as quickly either.
Next, we're actually going to be using these high explosives here to blow up barricades. This is just to kind of introduce you to the way that they're going to gate some of your progress. So you have to blow them up manually with the T button. And the next section here is actually going to be, we're going to have to get to, don't mind me like roundhouse kicking through my homies there. Not at all. So we're going to have to be like following this armored vehicle's following us, and we just got to get through this area, plant a high explosive, and then we'll use like a checkpoint to bring them closer to us as well.
I feel like this has been the perfect GDQ to have the GDQ spin emote introduced, because there've just been like so many there have been so many spin mechanics used for movement in like so many runs this event, and Vanquish is not letting me down right now.
All right, here we go.
And there's plenty of spinning happening in the chat, just to let you know the support is out there.
Oh, excellent, excellent. That is what I like to see. We're Sam, dude, doing some spin things. So here we go. And again, I don't want to use the melee movement here because there are enemies around, so I just want to make sure that I get out of range here. And then we're good to go. And we're going to checkpoint reset. This will bring the armored vehicle to us. And then we're going to be able to mow down these jellyfish here with the anti-armor piercer.
Those dudes look straight out of Titanfall 2, like the ticks. Interesting.
There may be a lawsuit there, I don't know.
they also remind, this entire tile section reminds me of the part from Gears of War 2, where they're kind of doing a very similar thing, which makes sense considering the fact that Burns is basically a Gears of War character.
Yeah, so at what point is, like, what's going on in the story right now? Who is Burns?
Yes.
Demonic?
So Robert Burns is the main Marine that we're going to be hanging out with. Him and Sam don't get along very well. Burns doesn't like the fact that Sam smokes very often, even in the middle of the battle, as you can see. But so that kind of got them off to a rocky start. But Burns doesn't really trust Sam, considering the fact that Sam isn't a Marine. He's actually a member of DARPA, so he doesn't really fall under the military umbrella that he does. But right now we're trying to get closer to the center of this microwave array, and we're also trying to find a bad guy named Viktor Zaitsev, who is essentially the one that runs the Russian Star and was the one that destroyed San Francisco. It's also a thing that Sam and his companion Elena, who is essentially kind of the Cortana of this game, they also have a couple of objectives that they didn't really tell Burns about, that they're trying to figure out themselves. We don't actually know what Sam and Elena are really doing here, but we do think it has something to do with a character named Professor Francois Candide.
And I should probably mention, by the way, since I'm doing a lot of this already, there is reload canceling in this game. So you can just go ahead and swap a gun unto itself, and especially on KBM, this is like one of the few straight up advantages that KBM has over a controller, is that on the first 2 slots you can swap guns unto themselves, but on the slot that we have the sniper rifle you cannot do that to reload cancel. You have to switch from another weapon back to it, and so that's one of the reasons that we have the sniper rifle on that slot specifically.
So it's not so much dependent on the weapon as it is dependent on which slot you have it bound to in the little rotary menu there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I always love like little weird speed running quirks like that. Like just for some reason it just doesn't work on the bottom slot.
Yeah, right. All right. So
it seems like most of the movement in this game is just kind of, I mean, I guess we touched on it a bit before, but it seems like you're always just trying to balance that heat gauge. So, and you're trying to choose like the fastest possible option, depending on, you know, whether you're going to be like sliding or doing like a melee dash cancel or anything like that. It's all kind of contextual in that way.
yeah, it's all kind of contextual, not only on how much heat gauge you have, but also, you know, like again, on how many enemies are around. So like there could be sections where enemies are not around, but you maybe used all of your heat gauge to get through an area with the enemies. So you have to do other stuff like, you know, dodge rolls with the slide startup on it, because you can do that too. So there's like 3 or 4 different movement mechanics that we use to get through a lot of these areas, depending on what lies in our path, as well as what lies in our wake, and how we've used previous movement techniques to get through areas before us. But we also have to think about, you know, areas ahead of us as well, because maybe I don't want to use like a ton of heat gauge at first, because maybe I need it to, I don't know, there's like a big enemy that's coming up that does a lot of damage, so I don't want to go in like with no heat gauge or something. You know, stuff like that.
It's also something like when you do the melee boost cancels, you don't want to do them near enemies like Cosmic said, so you have to like plan that out and maybe, okay, I need to use heat gauge around these enemies so I can do a melee dash cancel later on or earlier than that.
Is there a difference between the 2 slides that I've noticed? I know one of them's like on your knees and the other one's kind of like you're sliding into home plate, like baseball style.
The baseball style slide is actually the faster of the 2. The knee slide isn't like terribly slower, but it is, you know, like not optimal. So you actually have to do like a flick shot motion. I'm going to explain after this fight here in a second. So this is the bogey boss. We're going to try and make sure that we hit him. Oh, there he is. Okay.
Man, that pistol chunks. Holy cow. Whoa, that looks so cool.
So there we go.
So fun fact, that was actually in that bogey suit was the Order of the Russian Stars leader, Victor Zaitsev. And in the cutscene that we skipped, essentially we saw the Professor Francois Candide, who actually made Sam's suit right here, along with this entire energy array evil laser beam that destroyed San Francisco. So he's a very important character. But we saw him get onto a plane with a bunch of the Russian robots, and now Sam has to go not only destroy the energy array for choice in New York, but he also has to go save that professor.
I just tried to do a little out of bounds there that might save us a few seconds, but I'm not going to waste too many bullets on it, so we're just going to sit there. So yeah, so that bogey right there, we would have had to, if we hadn't gotten its health down to a certain amount, prior to it going into an animation where it'll like pull out its sword, we would have had to do a phase with a QTE, which, you know, again, we don't want to do QTEs in this game. As cool as they are, they do waste us those precious seconds. So glad we were able to get that quick kill as well.
This game came out in like 2012, right? Originally, which was like
2010, yeah.
2010. Okay, that's like that peak QTE era for sure.
Absolutely. So right here, we're gonna use a grenade to again blow up everybody here.
Oh, looks so cool.
Excuse me. Excuse me. What are you doing? Still alive.
And then speaking of grenades, there are 2 grenades. There's the regular fragmentation grenade that everyone knows. There's also an EMP grenade, which will stun enemies because we're all fighting a bunch of robots. So EMP grenades will stun enemies and kind of shut them down for a few moments.
And just another quick question: are like the green boxes? Are those the upgrade things you were talking about? Sorry, I'm not sure if that was covered or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
okay.
Cubes. Yep.
Cool.
So we're gonna take out these dudes right here. And Burns, I didn't mean. If you hadn't gotten in my way, dude, we wouldn't have had
He
this
got
issue.
so bad.
This is a great time to mention that whenever you're aiming from something, even if a character is not blocking Sam or his gun physically, if they're blocking the aiming reticle, it'll still block the shot because that's where it aims the bullet from. So that happens a lot when you're in slow motion and you roll right next to somebody, and it's like, whoops, can't shoot anyone.
Yeah. So now that we've gone through this entire breakneck, first 19 minutes or so of the game, we're now in an 8-minute auto scroller. So yeah, we have to go to another part of the space colony, and I just kind of have to shoot things on turrets. So before we get into more, explanations and everything, I do want to get some of those donations going off. So let's get them popping off a little bit.
Cosmic, perfect timing. Lots of love coming in for you and Sam alike. We
Excellent.
have a $50 donation from Platin Doc that says, "Hey Cosmic, we're thrilled you're back at GDQ. You're an awesome runner and truly an amazing guy. We're all rooting for you. Keep doing Sam things. Hashtag doing Sam things."
Appreciate that.
We also have a $15 donation from Smashville, and that says, "Playing hooky at work to watch a top-tier amigo and a top-tier game on the grand stage. Proud of you as always, Cosmic. Good luck with hashtag doing Sam things, and much love, brother."
Much love. Can we get another one before we get into some more stuff going on? We got time.
Absolutely. We have a $100 donation from CD Mangaka that says, "Hello, GDQ and DECosmic. Mangaka here. I wanted to give a huge shout out to Cosmic for getting me into speedrunning DMC5 and for teaching me more about that game. My life has gotten a bit crazy with work and teaching and running FGC events, but it's been a pleasure to get to know Cosmic more to get involved in speedrunning a bit. I'm taking notes on the Vanquish run just in case. Good luck to Cosmic, and I'll see you at a fighting game major soon. Hashtag doing Sam things."
Much love, friends. Much love. So, why are we here on this thing? I totally forget, Demonic. Can you fill us in?
Yeah, so right now we are, again, trying to get to the center of the energy array, because right now we are working under the idea that Zaitsev, the Order of the Russian Stars leader, is kind of just, chilling around, basically waiting to blow up New York. So we're kind of bouncing back between a variety of chasing him down and then going to help some fellow Marines in other parts of the actual colony that we're on. Another point that we can mention is the fact that we learned very early on in the beginning of the game that there is somebody who is in the government that is essentially a betrayer, somebody who kind of sold out the United States to the Russian Tsar. We don't know who yet, we just know that it's somebody. So that's another part of Sam's mission, since he's technically part of DARPA, which is not the actual government, or I think not the military. It stands for the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. So that explains A, the cool suit, and B, the fact that he's not going to be really listening to Burns very often.
That is true. I also want to go over a weapon exploit here that I'm going to do in a second. So basically what happens with this game is you can only upgrade a weapon by picking up another version of the weapon if the version that you're carrying has full ammo. So the way that we can exploit this system is by picking up a weapon that we're not carrying to drop our non-full ammo version of a gun on the ground, and then picking up a full ammo version as one of the drops. So like here I'm going to pick up the rocket launcher, which I'm not currently carrying. I'm going to pick up this version of the assault rifle that does have 600 bullets in it, which is my current max, and then I'm going to pick up my old version. So now I get a free ammo upgrade, or I get a free upgrade. Right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, this is something that we do quite a bit in the run to mostly circumvent the drop rate of the anti-armor pistol specifically, because the DLC weapons in this game, though they do have dedicated boosts to them where all of them drop, which are the anti-armor pistol, the boost machine gun, and the laser cannon, the most useful of them being obviously the anti-armor pistol. We do weapon exploits at each of those drops just so that we can get free upgrades throughout the course of the run to kind of offset maybe when we don't get optimal RNG, really. Well, we've actually been getting some really nice RNG this run, so that's really cool to see.
I can't believe the boost assault rifle is not the most important in a game about going fast like this. It just sounds like it should work.
It's like good, but I don't know. It's
got the best name.
That's true. That's fair. Yeah. Although I don't know, maybe the LFE gun. The LFE gun just kind of sounds cool. I have no idea what LFE stands for, but yeah. All right. So while I'm taking down these drop ships with some with my FaZe Clan application here, we can do some more donations.
Absolutely. Sounds like a little bit of shade on this one, but we're going to read it anyway. SocioStash donates $25 and says, "It's no Metal Gear Rising, but this breakdancing Sam will have to do." Hashtag doing Sam things. And we also have a $100 donation from Roman that says, "Every year it's hard to choose all the games I'll be donating to, but Vanquish is a clear banger. Love the game, and watching the speedrun is at least as much fun as playing it myself. Thanks for the super entertaining run, and keep on rocking DECosmic."
It is true. This game is like a lot of fun to watch. Just speaking from like a spectator's perspective, I like literally could not contain. I don't know, just like the joyous laughter I had watching you just like slide around and like putt everywhere, like the amount of control you're given. It's just really it's very a pleasant game to watch. It is true.
Also, kind of a fun fact, this game came out like 3 years before Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. So if anything, Metal Gear Rising is a ripoff of Vanquish.
True. Even though this Sam has jet streams attached to his legs, and then the Sam in Metal Gear Rising is called Jetstream Sam, we'll ignore that.
Also, this QTE is actually really hard. Like, he's smashing it, and he just barely makes it every single time.
Wow.
Your last year's model.
That was cool.
Something to note, that QTE, like Demonic mentioned, that QTE is really hard because of how FPS is affected in this port. So the PC port, this is where it really comes to the forefront, how much is tied to FPS in this game. So on launch, the most obvious example is that enemy damage was tied to FPS for a while, and the game originally ran at 30 FPS on console. So when people were playing on unlocked frame rate, enemies did more damage, and you can imagine people's reaction to that when they were maybe getting like 2 or 3 shot by enemies, probably on the difficulty that we're playing on currently. So it not only affects enemy damage values, it affects projectile paths, it will affect ally AI pathing, it affects QTEs, and it even affects the way that we do the out of bounds clips because it makes them easier as well at higher FPS. So there's a lot of stuff that, and I think now, like with the way that they patched it for the enemy damage, the enemies now do less damage than they're intended to, but I'll take that over them, you know, like doing way more damage than they're supposed to.
Wasn't there even like an article when this game like got ported or something like that that touched on that?
Oh yeah, it was called it's called Vanquish May Be Harder Than You Remember It, and they went over the amount of damage that enemies were doing as a result of the FPS changes.
That's wild. Is there anything that you... Oh, go ahead. Okay, I was gonna say
it kind of reminds me of what happened with Devil May Cry 3 and the difficulties being different depending on like where you were in the world, like between North America and Europe.
Yeah, that one was intentional. I don't know if the FPS changes here were totally intentional. It very much reminds me too of like, you know, I mean, even something like more recently, the knife in Resident Evil 2 remake, just tying certain things to FPS really just tends to break some systems like that.
Has that been a challenge for y'all from like a speedrun, you know, like rule making or moderation perspective? Like, is there any sort of stuff you have in place for that?
I could see it being kind of a problem in the future if the community gets bigger, but we're so small right now that we've all just kind of agreed to play on unlocked FPS. You know, just because as hardware gets better, it's much easier to run the game at these high FPS. So I could see it being a point of contention in the future, especially with if people want to run on console, like on the PS4 remake or the remaster and stuff. Excuse me, sir.
Oh. This is so nice to watch after that auto scroller segment. We're schmooving.
Right? Yeah. We are schmooving again. We are through the auto scroller section, and we're gonna actually be coming up on a double Argus core fight here. And so instead of having one boss that we're gonna do in 2 phases, we're gonna have 2 bosses that we do in 1 phase each. So the first one is going to be down on, on its legs like a spider, like the first one was, and the other one's going to be standing up. So if this guy will actually stop being shy and turn towards me here. Okay, that's fine, I guess. What is he doing?
Is it
His own leg, dude.
Yo, he's on the GDQ stage. He's a little nervous.
Dude,
You need to give him.
shy. It's fair,
Yeah, you need to give him. You
I
give him a
get
little
it.
slack. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, this QTE is fake.
Oh,
I don't have to do a darn thing.
Oh, it's just like The Last of Us.
And then we turn into a drill. Why? I don't know.
This is so
Why
anime.
we turn into a drill? I don't know. And then we're gonna come up behind this guy right here. We're gonna take out his kneecaps.
That was so ridiculous, even by this game's standards. I just want to say.
Are you pretty sure this isn't a Beyblade game, actually?
Wow.
Yeah, man, these people are gonna be spinning in their grave.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't it rolling in their grave?
Well, Beyblades spin, don't they?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, they're called top spinners. Anyway, okay. Also, that's going to be a very common thing. This game does like to repeat boss fights quite a bit. Usually they try and mix it up, like they'll throw it in, two of them, or they'll do it in a different environment. But that's like not the last time you're going to see repeated boss fights in this run.
Absolutely. And so I mentioned earlier that some of the triggers in this game, as far as, gating your progression, they do depend on allies getting to certain points. I might have mentioned, maybe I mentioned that, maybe I didn't. Let's assume I did. So there's very few AI manips that we have in this game. One of them is if Burns will get over here. Where did he go? I could have. There he is. Well, he was right over there a second ago. Anyway, so the first thing that we're gonna do is, since he took so long to get here, we're just gonna push him towards the door, just to get him a little bit further in here. So
This is a very Halo-esque AI manip.
Then we're gonna get to the end here on this, and then we're just gonna hope that these guys here teleport to the end with us. And they did. They're so nice. They did it. They weren't shy like the Argus Corps. I love it.
Man, another Blaine thing this game ripped off is the AI teleportation from Gears of War, SMH.
We also have time for a couple of quick donations here while we go up this big elevator or escalator here.
Awesome. We have a $50 donation from B-Mao that says, "You got this, homie." Hashtag doing Sam things. And then here's a good one. We have a $100 donation from Half Coordinated that says, so good to see Vanquish back at GDQ with Cosmic to beautifully show how far the game has come since I had the chance to showcase it back in 2015. Thank you for pushing Rocket Knees to their limit. Donation goes to Cosmic's Choice.
Thank you so much, Hef.
That's so cool to get a donation from Half. Yeah, seriously. What sort of things have changed since that run back in 2015? Like, if there's like a couple things you could point out specifically.
There's a couple of out-of-bounds skips that got added. One that specifically skips an auto-scroller section, and really like a lot of stuff got streamlined in terms of weapon upgrades, and weapon choice even. So we ended up using less like a variety of guns throughout the course of the game, and there's more like specialized instances of that. So like even the no DLC category, the difference between DLC and no DLC used to be like 10 minutes, and now the difference is maybe like 5 minutes at most. I think optimally it'd be like 3.5 minutes. And the big thing as well is with KBM aiming and movement, like a lot of stuff there got streamlined as well. Yeah. So once the PC port came out, there was like a whole new world opened up for the game.
Sounds like a very natural progression. Yeah, definitely. I love the knee sliding into their butts to try and push them.
Yeah.
Assuming that's what you're trying to do. I don't know.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. I'm so used to just like doing it. All right, here we go. So this movement section here is actually going to be sort of contextualizing a lot of stuff that Bryo and I mentioned earlier, where we were talking about the heat gauge management and the different tactics and stuff. So we're going to take out these guys. This guy's hiding behind the walker here. So the first thing that we're going to be doing once this door opens up here is we're going to be doing some roundhouse kicks through the door.
It's like my favorite section of the run.
And then we're going to be boosting on through these guys. We're just going to take the detour here. And then we're going to be doing some boosts rolls, and then we're going to come up here. Now that there's no enemies around, we can do more roundhouse kicks, and our heat gauge is refilled.
Wow, that is fast. You really see the context for that when there's a lot of objects around you.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're going to go back to this right here. Go ahead.
This is all just really clean movement from Cosmic, just constantly balancing out the fact that he has to avoid enemies, he has to slide and watch the heat gauge, he can't melee around them. Like, he just makes that look so clean. It's really impressive.
That is really cool. Yeah, that's just so fun to watch. It's an interesting balance this game too between those like high velocity segments like that and a lot of the really heavy combat sections as well.
Yeah, I think that movement, you know, like definitely will make or break a lot of runs, but I would say that there's definitely like a very good balance between combat and movement in this game, which is one of the big reasons that I love it, especially as a speed run. We're gonna take these guys out here too. We did a checkpoint reset there just to despawn the enemies in the room with us. This guy's downed. We're gonna help him out. Oh, he gave me a sniper rifle. I appreciate that, dude.
Wow.
Oh, there's another one over here.
I thought you straight up killed him. I'm not gonna lie. I thought he just died.
Nah, just give him a good old shot of Mountain Dew and that soldier's ready to fight again. He doesn't have his gun to fight with, but he'll go in bare knuckle brawler.
Amen. All right, so this is the first of the two out of bounds sections actually, or through bounds really. So let's see if I can hit this. This is gonna save probably about 20 or so seconds over just doing the segment regularly. Oh, come on. There we go.
Whoa. Oh, that's whoa.
And we're out. So,
oh, that was clean, dude. Nicely done.
Thank you. So now we've skipped an entire like couple of elevator sections, and we can go ahead through, and we'll just go to the top of this section here. Oh my goodness.
Oh.
These guys are accosting me right now.
I love the sliding uphill. The very steep.
I was just gonna
grade.
say.
Yeah.
It looks so weird. All right, so now this is gonna be a big point where we just have to make sure that we're paying attention to the radar in the top right there, because we wanna be sure that we are able to throw a couple of hand grenades up top when a bunch of enemies are spawning in. What are you doing here, sir? So here we go. I think that they're gonna spawn in right now. Okay, we're gonna do that. We're gonna pick up this rocket launcher here in a second. One of them didn't go up here. Oh, it's fine. Okay, anyway, so take this guy out. That's actually going to destroy the bay that tank is coming out of. So now we don't actually have to deal with that spawn anymore. There's another.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna have to grab in a second here. Here's the big usage of an EMP grenade here for this enemy. We're just going to take him down and then just dust him.
The enemy design of this game is awesome.
And now Burns is going to be nice because he's going to come over here to the elevator immediately, right?
Right. Come on, Burns. I know you're lugging around like 800 pounds of gear, but man, you can move faster than that. Also, you're going to notice something that Cosmic actually doesn't have any frag grenades in his inventory right now. However, he's still going to be able to throw them. Did you want me to explain how that works?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
Yeah, so
this boss is about to just go die. Yeah, this boss is about to die.
With certain animations of how you throw the grenade, especially the EMP grenade, if you throw it while you're moving, it actually has like a second to queue up. And if you swap grenades in the middle of that animation, it will use the other grenade instead, and then it won't actually use any grenades. So as long as you have like one EMP grenade or one frag grenade, you essentially have unlimited grenades for both of them.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. And that actually will help you circumvent a lot of the RNG that you might encounter with grenade drops. So another one of those things that we do to kind of mitigate, you know, if the RNG isn't necessarily in your favor. But fortunately, again, the RNG's been kind of good this run, so I'm pretty happy. This is another intercom section where, go ahead, Brian.
I was just gonna say, enjoy that while it lasts. That is not common. For an environment like this. Yeah.
True. I won't say it too many times now. It's refreshing. You know, I have to just bask in it for a little bit. My voice cracked there. I was basking so much. Anyway, so the intercom section here is just, we got time for donations here where they're just talking back and forth.
Well, perfect timing. I'd like to do a quick shout out and welcome everyone in. You are watching Summer Games Done Quick 2021 online. all in support of Doctors Without Borders. Also known as MSF, is an international medical, humanitarian, and aid organization that works in over 70 countries around the world, providing life-saving medical humanitarian care and speaking out about what they see in those areas. Their work aids people based solely on need, irrespective of race, religion, gender, or political affiliation. We are currently at $808,000, all because of you. You all have made this thing happen. We are keeping the donations going. Thank you so much for being here and watching DECosmic completely take apart Vanquish here and having a good time doing it. Good luck on the rest of the run, Vanquish.
We got time for a couple of donations because this is just a really big fight that I got to manage here. So
perfect. Well, we've got plenty of donations. Zio donates $15 and says, hey, Zio here. Good luck on the run, Cosmic. May the drop grenade drop RNG be with you on this run. Go, Sam, go. Also, thanks to GDQ for another awesome event. Hashtag doing Sam things.
Zio is the current world record holder for this game, by the way. He is a very good friend of mine.
Dude, that looks so cool.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Zio. And then we also have $25 from Ember that says, long-time watcher, first-time donator. So happy to see so much energy on the stage of SGDQ tonight. Shout out to DECosmic for the cool movement and to bryonato for the stellar commentary.
Yo, okay, give a shout out to Demonic as well. He's been killing it the whole time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
Also, you're probably wondering why it's nighttime.
I'm wondering why it's nighttime. Why is it? Oh, okay.
There is no explanation. Yeah, they turned off the lights, dude. That's the explanation.
But yeah, so you're probably wondering what's happening in the story. Again,
what is happening in the story? I am wondering. Yes.
I'm gonna sound like a one-track record. We are still trying to get to the center microwave energy array. Honestly, Sam just gets very easily distracted with trying to help people and trying to save lives. It's actually a problem between him and Burns, because Burns is very much the guy who's just like, they know what they signed up for, leave them behind. And Sam is like, what? No, we're gonna go help them. So that's the main source of conflict between their relationship that we see in the cutscenes.
Clearly, Burns was not watching GDQ, because if anybody caught that Mass Effect 2 run, we know that we're not leaving anyone behind.
True.
Exactly.
True. All right, so after this fight right here, normally, so in this game, we time out loads, as all good PC games should. And we actually time out pauses as well, because there's certain sections where you can lose a ton of time due to how FPS affects pathing in this game, not only for allies, but also for enemies. For this specific instance, it affects ally pathing. So normally, if I were doing like an actual PB attempt here, I would be pausing and then changing the graphics to have VSync on, so that there would be a less likely chance for the ally here to get stuck in the ship instead of lowering the bridge here. Fortunately, the game will just unsoft lock itself for us, but we're just gonna roll the dice and, oh my God, is he gonna do it? He did it! Oh my gosh! Yo, okay. That guy is either the world's most useless Marine or the most useful, because he can lose you like 25 seconds just if he decides to not lower the bridge. Like, okay, bud. Cool. I appreciate it though. Let me get that man's ID number.
The Underminer.
God, I still love seeing you do that slow motion, like shooting the grenade out of the air. And I love that it has like an actual gameplay relevance to it. You're not doing it just to look really cool.
Yeah, it's really strong too, especially like, this was one of those things that, like, you know, Zio specifically is an extremely talented like mechanical player, and his aim is just like really, really good. So a lot of his strats were based on having good aim, but I don't have as good aim because I'm not as good of a god gamer. So like I had to compensate with a lot of like better decision making in terms of like where I place grenades and stuff. And he ended up adapting a lot of those strats because he noticed like, wow, this is just really fast. So that's how that strat specifically came about, because we used to use stuff like rocket launchers there, or just like mow down all the enemies and headshot all of them. Also, here's another teleport coming up.
And
oh, like an AI teleport?
Yep, AI teleport. So let's see if they'll actually...
Okay,
and they teleported. Hey,
nice.
Wow.
Look how far
Hey.
that actually saves a lot of time.
I was gonna say, yeah.
But I also noticed if you look at the little eagle icon on the weapon wheel, that's actually over the anti-tank pistol. So what that means is that it's actually fully upgraded to its max value. So not only does it have a lot more of a higher ammo capacity than before, but it's also going to be doing double damage. So that is going to be where a big time save is, and where some of the RNG factors in is how early you get that upgrade. I've seen runs where he's way farther into the game and he doesn't have that fully maxed out yet. So to get it so early is really good luck.
Yeah, that's really, really strong. That's probably some of the strongest I've seen. No. Whoop. There we go. And this section here, this is another one of those, like, this is kind of an auto scroller, but kind of not, because we have to traverse across this highway, but we have to do it in the manner that the game wants us to, in such that, you know, like, we have to wait on our allies to get to the end of the bridge, but we can actually just kind of prep the bridge to be run across like this. So we can take these out right here. Is this guy hiding? He is. Okay, that's fine. There we go. So now we just kind of get to wait on here. But this is one of those things where, like, the game doesn't expect you to outpace it so hard. So it's still kind of going through a lot of, like, these cinematic sort of things going on with, like, the missiles flying at you that just somehow blow up right before they reach you. But it still is, like, it'll eventually get moving, you know? It's very weird to see this a lot in the game because you just outpace it so hard with a lot of the strats that we do. There's just, like, airtime where there shouldn't be.
Yeah, normally when you're playing this game casually, you'll actually be playing it kind of more like a cover shooter, like Gears of War. You're not going to really be, you know, flying around on your knees and doing the baseball slides like Cosmic is doing. It's really interesting in how differently you can play this game. You know, you could either be doing it like Cosmic, where you're just sliding around, being a badass, shooting grenades out of the air, or you can play it a little bit more tactically with that sniper and sit back and, you know, pick off the robot enemies. So it's really much like a good freedom of expression and choice when you're playing this.
Absolutely. So now we're waiting on Burns and company here. That guy actually just, he sacrificed himself for his home.
Get down, Mr. President. Yeah.
There is, okay, they're all, I think we're good here in terms of, well, we'll get to fill here. And now we're just gonna wait for the gate here to drop, and then we should be good to go. Hey, what's up, Burns? How are you doing, buddy? All right, and now after that huge sequence of a highway collapsing, we're in a stealth section. Why? Why? I don't know. Just Platinum Game things. Just Sam things.
Oh,
So,
Platinum made this. That's cool.
Yep. Platinum.
Very neat.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys don't know, Platinum was the same company that did Bayonetta.
Metal Gear Rising.
Obscure indie title. Bayonetta, you may have heard of it.
Yeah. With obscure indie developers Shinji Mikami, who directed this game, and Hideki Kamiya, who directed such titles as Beautiful Joe, Devil May Cry.
Wow.
So that's why we have the auto scrollers in here.
True. You can clearly see Hideki's influence here, dude. Clearly. We also have time for some donations here because you know, this is what's happening for the next few minutes.
Cosmic, I think there's going to be some people trying Vanquish after this run, just to let you know.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Signed Katie donates $5 and says, I don't know this game, but what a run. I have no idea what's happening on screen right now, and I'm completely delighted. Do the Sam things, do the Sam things. Awesome.
Hey.
Also have a comment about Platinum Games and other things. Junko donates $5 and says, howdy everyone, Junko here. Platinum Games has made some of my favorite games of the last couple of console generations. Nier Automata, Astral Chain, Vanquish. Good luck, Cosmic. You know your horror family is here to support you. And as for the donation reader, LattMackey, aka Sabaping, I'm so happy to hear you on GDQ. Thank you and Cosmic for helping out such a great event for an even greater charity that's desperately needed this year. Thanks, Junko.
We can get a couple more in before we hop into more commentary.
We got plenty. Here's a good one. Waifu donates $100 and says, just wanted to give a huge shout out to Cosmic, Bry, and Demonic. All of them are amazing and integral parts of the speedrunning community, and it's a pleasure to watch them do their work on the big stage. The Devil May Cry community wouldn't be the same without Cosmic, and I know he does the same for the other communities that he is in. Vanquish couldn't have a better representative. Hashtag doing Sam things.
Yo, waifu, much love, dude.
Thank you, waifu. What a sweet comment. That was really nice.
Yeah, that was really nice.
He's such a wholesome boy when he wants to be.
I could hear it coming through your teeth when he said when he wants to be at the end there.
It's all love, man. It's all love.
Also, another kind of fun thing that we haven't really talked about much, but when you do see Sam smoke, that's actually like a legitimate button prompt that he does on his own. On the harder difficulties, that's actually really important because it does have a gameplay mechanic. Again, this game is very much about looking cool and being able to get like benefits from doing it. So it actually draws enemy aggro. So it's really good when you're like taking fire under cover and you need like a second to breathe. Also, those snipes, man, oh my god.
Was that hard? Are those hard? Because that looked really cool.
I can't choose whether.
Okay, you know what? Don't answer it.
Or...
Don't answer it. I can't. That looked so difficult, dude. I bet that was really difficult. Yes. Don't answer my question. Yes.
That's fair. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. All right. So, this is a good time to mention, because of those shots there, that every weapon in this game is a projectile. None of it is hit scans. So a lot of times, if enemies are far away, you do actually have to lead your shots, which is what I had to do in that instance. You don't actually need to take out those enemies. I just like doing those shots because they're fun to do. And it can really just, it's a really good test of your aim and understanding how to lead the shots in the game. So. And unfortunately here, like, even if you take out all of the lights, the cart actually has to reach a certain point in the level before it will start moving faster. So
I'm almost getting anxious. I just want the movement to start again,
Right, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's a nice water break, but eventually it's like, okay, I've been here for a couple of minutes. My water bottle's empty. Can I get back to moving
now
around
I have
here?
to pee. Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, come on, let's go. All right, so here we go. We got to set 2 high explosives here. And then we're going to be able to blow up the barricade that's in our way for the cart, or the monorail. And then we'll be able to venture on to another boss known as the Buzzard. This is another one of those bosses that's going to appear a few times. Like Demonic said, this game does like to reuse them a little bit. So we're just going to kind of boost dodge around here. This actually increases our iframes on the dodge roll if you just boost into it before doing the dodge. So you can do that just to make sure that you don't use up all your heat gauge, and you can just kind of, avoid all enemy damage there. This boss here, we do want to just take it out with the anti-armor pistol like a lot of the bosses. But we could actually one-cycle it if we wanted to. However, if you use slow-mo in this section, it will actually cause the monorail to move at a slower pace along the rail to the end there. So even though you might lose some time, like, on the fight itself, you're still kind of gated by how fast the rail's going to go. So that boss is down, and we're just kind of moving on, and we just kind of gotta wait this out here, because again, the game is like, I love my auto scrollers.
Also,
side note,
it's daytime too.
Welcome back.
They turned the lights back on.
Side note, by the way, this is gonna be super random. I know a lot through this GDQ. We've been saying stay hydrated. That's great. I just mentioned pee, so now my brain is just thinking about pee. Don't hold in your pee, by the way, folks. It's one thing to stay hydrated. Also, go pee. Don't ask me why it's not healthy. I don't remember, but don't hold it in. It's not good for you. Seriously, stay hydrated and go pee when your body tells you to. Friendly reminder. You're welcome.
Amen. We also have time for donations.
How do you follow that? Thanks for the public service announcement, Demonic. Appreciate it.
That was Brian. That wasn't me. That was all
Demonic's like, I don't know this person. Do not associate me with them.
I'm from California. I'm very used to it, so.
I hear you. Well, thank you. It's very much appreciated. The chat appreciates it. So we have a $25 donation from Hawkeye Rio that says, when did Pepsi Man get so many guns and kicks? Thanks to all the writers, hosts, and commentators. And then there is a $25 donation from Mulgar that says, best of luck with the Vanquish run, Cosmic. Keep on with the fast times and bad puns. # doing Sam things.
Much love, Mulgar. So now we're on to another battlefield here, and this thing in the background that's firing this gigantic laser is called the Creon. Demonic, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so the Creon is kind of this giant, large, I guess, like, turtle robot. Again, you're pretty much fighting robots through 99% of the game, and this is by far the biggest one. So it's essentially a huge walking tower with just giant lasers and explosives. And it's actually been a big problem for the Marines because they actually can't get their ships anywhere near the core of the array because it's continuously firing and shooting them down. And now it's also heading over towards the big center tower, which if that gets destroyed, then some very, very bad things will happen. So once again, Sam is going to get sidetracked with another mission to, you know, save lives, which Burns doesn't really like, but Sam's actually a good guy. So we're going to be doing that with the help of a couple of Marines, including one called S. Mikami, which not really sure what that name is referencing, but
not a clue, dude. Also, I just changed my graphics there to turn on VSync. One of the tanks in this area, its padding gets so messed up at high frame rates that I have to turn on VSync so that it will change around to where I need it to be. Otherwise, I can't shoot at it with this turret. So, yeah, that's a thing. So hopefully they spawn in here now. Yeah, here we go. Okay.
This game really likes turret segments.
Yeah. It's I don't even have a pun. You're just correct. That's all I got, unfortunately. All right, so we're gonna take out these guys here on the right. Then this turret right here, we're gonna use to take out a tank that's gonna come out through the right here. And then there's gonna be more at the. Go ahead.
Oh, I do like how this game is one of the few games that actually has only limited ammo in the turrets. It doesn't have like an overheat or recharge mechanic, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, you'd think that, right? I mean, I guess because the game just is like, oh, it's a gun, so I guess we'll just give it ammo. What did I do there? Okay, there we go. Nice. All right, so we're gonna take out this tank right here. A little bit slow, but nothing doing. We are huge here. And excuse me. Okay, and then I'm gonna have to change my graphics back here.
Oh, this menu is tripping right now.
Yep. Oh, I forgot to mention, menu speed is tied to frame rate. In case you didn't think there were enough things that were tied to frame rate in this game, we got another.
Maybe the better question would be like, what isn't? Is there anything that specifically isn't tied to frame rate?
How cool Sam is.
Okay. Sam's suit, I'm gonna say that's also not tied to FPS. I think that's more tied to the CPU temperature.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. We're going to take out the Creon here in 2 shots because we have a max rank anti-armor pistol.
Yeah, wow, that's a big difference from the start of the game.
Yeah, you can really see like how far the upgrades, you know, prioritizing one weapon will take you in terms of, you know, especially the anti-armor pistol. So now that we're getting into the late game, you're going to see a lot of stuff just getting shredded immediately. This is also a forced overheat section here, so that's why I didn't care about kicking that guy, because Sam's so close to the heat systems of the Creon here while we're trying to board it that the suit is always going to overheat. However, because we killed it close too, we don't got to hang around here really quick because Shinji Mikami is here, and he's going to launch the wire gun for us. So here we go. Also, this is I'm gonna have to concentrate here because this is another cool out of bounds section. We're gonna skip an entire auto scroller. So
I like that. I like the sound of that.
The coolest one.
True. Okay, he's gonna just head down there instead. That's fine.
Sam.
It's okay.
Oh, we got a nice checkpoint though. Nice checkpoint though.
Yeah, it's really good. There we go.
Oh, this is sick. Is this like, is this a tight movement section? Like, do you have to be careful to stay on this rail?
Oh, yes.
It looks really cool.
And it's going to skip an entire fight against the boss called Unknown.
I'm so nervous for you falling off. Oh, okay, that's wasn't even a problem for you. Let's go, dude. That was awesome.
We're out here.
Again, you know, Cosmic just making it look extremely easy when it isn't.
So let's do this right here.
Whoa. Sounds so cool.
Oh,
what
man,
is
that's great.
What the heck?
There we go. That is the boss called Unknown. It's a I don't even know what it's made out of. It's literally just called Unknown. But
it's unknown.
Yeah, it's unknown. Yeah. So it has a one-shot kill. That's kind of why we hang back too. So we just kind of got to take it out completely. Excuse me, sirs. You're not going to get to play the game today. So then here we're going to go through a series of tubes that Sam calls an amusement park. And we're going to use checkpoint abuse here to make sure that the tubes are on a consistent cycle. And we're going to do some more movement here. This is another... Ooh, I accidentally almost played that a little bit too close to the chest. All right. So we're going to head on through here now, too. Hit another checkpoint. And that's going to cause this to disappear. Nice. Okay. And then for his troubles, he got in our way, so he's dead.
This is so refreshing to watch. The movement in this game is really a joy.
It's one of my, it's definitely my favorite third-person shooter. I don't know why I'm saying probably. Like trying to hedge my opinions, like no, just commit to it. So there is a little bit, I'm actually gonna go for this. Let me see if we can do this here. This is a bit more of an individual level strat.
IL strats in a marathon, baby.
Oh.
Oh.
We did it. Okay.
Oh my God, let's go.
It's so scary, dude. Nice,
Ooh,
nice,
my
nice,
goodness.
nice.
All right. Nice. Okay. So that skipped that whole little section there too.
How much time did that save? Because I can't imagine it saved much, but it did look really cool.
It saved probably like 15 seconds or so.
Oh,
so.
okay, never mind. That is hefty. Yeah, go off.
Those are the best kind of skips. You know, just hashtag doing cosmic things.
True.
Rocket to the face.
And we're out of there. Ooh. Whew. All right. I'll take that 10 seconds.
That sounded like a very genuine sigh of relief there.
Oh yeah, I was nervous. I was practicing that a lot earlier today because I really wanted to go for it if we were on a decent pace. So I'm really, really happy that we got that. Excuse me, sir. Thank you. Okay, so now we're on top of the Keizaron. I gotta catch my breath a little bit here. There is one clip here that I didn't practice because it's really, really hard and very inconsistent, but you can actually clip through one of these platforms with the sniper rifle, but that saves maybe like, you know, like 5 seconds or something, so.
Gotcha.
Wasn't really worth it. I wasn't that much of a daredevil this time around, but another really good IL strat too, so. All right. So now we have to go to the top of the Keizaron and we need to sabotage it so that it can stop taking down, you know, giving the Marines so much trouble. And
whoa, I love these animations.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's like able to perfectly slide around with zero effort, turn into a drill, navigate up enemies' gigantic robotic arms, but like just a slight little shake on the environment, he just has to pause and...
Yeah.
That's the pause. All right, so there's another fight with Unknown coming up here. However, we actually have a little bit of a treat for the chat here coming up.
Ooh.
So I did definitely remember to turn on music here, so I hope.
I'm excited.
So everybody get out whatever your favorite dance mode is, okay?
All right, I'm gonna get my sour please ready.
Excellent. So here we go.
Also, if anybody has Maxie's dance emote, oh.
we can take a smoke break with our buddies too, you know. Okay, your time has come, unfortunately.
Wait, dude.
Wait, no. What do you have against robots, huh, Cosmo?
Why did you do that?
Nothing, nothing at all, dude. It was just their time. All right, they were in my way.
I'm.
And now you're just.
And look at how cute it is.
Poor Unknown.
True. It happens.
Actually, again, Cosmic is making that easy. That fight is really difficult casually because again, it'll just charge at you and chew you up and spit you out in one shot. I'm pretty sure it even does that on the easiest difficulty too.
Yep, it has the one shot on every difficulty. So.
Why would you say you had a treat for Chad if you were gonna blow him up like that?
I never said that I never said it was a permanent treat. You know, it's sort of like when your friend shares their favorite toy with you. You know, it's kind of like that. Eventually, you got to give it back, right?
Yeah, but if you took it back and then just smashed it on the ground, it's
I mean, fair enough.
I think it's a little bit different.
Fair. But however, I do have a present for both of you. We finally see some color in the game.
Whoa!
After all the grays,
it's green.
The browns, yeah, it's green. It's like a muted green, but it's still okay. It's fine.
Yeah, wow, this game really does have a samey color palette. Yeah.
Good old 2010s, man. 2010s gritty war aesthetic.
This is going to be a deep cut. Maybe it's just because I play too much BioShock, but I'm immediately reminded of that audio log that you find in Arcadia, where the little girl's like, "Mommy, mommy, what is that? What is that?" Because she's never seen trees in her life because she's been living underwater in a city. Anyway, that's what it makes me think of.
I'm like, I actually went and listened to that audio log like recently on BioShock, so I was like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's such a great game.
Yeah. Bryo and I are both control runners, so we definitely know that feeling of like a gray, modern kind of background and then being able to finally see color in something else. It's a very nice feeling. It's a good little break.
You can also just see the anti-armor pistol here just tearing through like everything.
Yeah,
in this
is this where like most of the time save comes with the pistol compared to like the beginning of the game?
Absolutely, yeah, because you know the anti-armor pistol really just does the job of like 2 or more guns. So usually in no DLC, a lot of these like heavier targets, until you have like the max level shotgun, you're going to be using a lot of like the rocket launcher, and then even then, bosses like the Argus cores and stuff, you're always just going to be using the rocket launcher for. So a lot of stuff that like you would use maybe like a situational gun for, or you would swap out a gun to make it so that this is another infinite grenade glitch here, by the way. All of that gets taken over by the anti-armor pistol. So really just tons of time save across the board with this gun. So much utility, so much damage, so good. We also have some time for donations here too, because we're just going to be coming up on another turret section.
Okay, we've got plenty coming in for you, the couch, the game, lots of stuff coming in here. We have a $25 donation from Andy V that says, "Hi GDQ, never played Vanquish, but I'm watching it at work because my boss recommended it to the design team as a good watch. So what's up, Leone? This game is wild." Certainly getting a view of it now. We have a $20 donation from Chaos Angel that says, "Cosmic making Sam things look stylish as usual. Thanks for everything you do for the speedrunning communities you're involved with. I think it's pretty safe to say, hey Cosmic, you're pretty cool. Shout out to the couch doing an amazing job, and good luck to all the runners we have yet to see. You got this. Hashtag doing Sam things."
Thanks for that.
Alrighty, so we actually use the checkpoint resets here not only to despawn enemies and to force these waves to come out a little bit quicker, we also do it to refill the turret section. So Bri, you get 2 turrets for the price of 1.
Wow.
Isn't that exciting?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This doesn't make up for killing the robots.
Okay, fair enough.
Hey, Brian, we heard you like turrets, so we put turrets in the turrets.
So the final checkpoint there is just to make sure that the enemies are just gone. It despawns in the next wave of enemies as well. And now we're just gonna kind of take out whoever comes our way, so that Burns doesn't have to fight them, because he can stop to fight these guys, and no, that's just time lost. Also, he's gonna leave his buddies behind. So, I guess this might be something that Sam and Burns have in common for this run, is that Sam left those robots behind in the dust, and
you did not just leave them behind.
Okay,
get this revisionist garbage out of here. You did not just leave them behind, okay?
But yeah, again, this is another problem that Sam has with Burns is, like Burns just said, they're like core and country first. So Burns was pretty much just like, they knew what they signed up for. They agreed to that. And Sam was like, well, you could have waited like 10 more seconds for them. But again, right now they have other priorities. They got to make sure New York doesn't get destroyed. So they can't really linger on those problems too much right now.
Here's another grenade strat here for the mini bogies here. They're all gonna die. And then the buzzard is gonna come out again. Where is it? Okay, there it is. Okay, a little second there.
You were doing so much damage. Oh, okay.
Hold on, we got him. Oh, nope, we don't, actually. Oh, never mind. My aim's terrible right now. There we go. Okay,
there we go.
Cool. I mentioned, by the way, everything in this game is projectile based. There's a perfect example there. I was trying to I couldn't lead the shots far enough for how fast that thing was flying.
For folks that don't know, a hit scan weapon in a video game would mean that once you shoot it, it instantly arrives as target. A projectile means it has travel time. So if you ever hear that in any discussion, projectile means, yeah, travel time, hit scan means instant.
All right, so we're actually approaching the final fight with the Argus Core. And you're really gonna see, especially here, what happens now that we have the fully ranked up anti-armor pistol. Because now this thing's gonna come in here. Remember how long it took to beat this guy before? All right, bud. Excuse me. There we go. Okay.
Bye.
3 shots. And now we gotta take out his buddies here. And then he's gonna transform. And again, we're going to bust his kneecaps wide open. And then we're going to take him down. That way, the difference between this Argus Core and the other ones, however, is that it has a desperation attack at the ending, which is a big beam that will kill us in 1 shot. So, actually, let me make sure that this guy can turn around here, because I don't like this positioning at all. I really don't like this. Can you I don't know. Okay, well, you know what? We're just going to go for it. That's fine. All right, here we go. So, and he's dead.
Whoa. Did he almost fire it there, or is that still coming?
Oh, it's coming out right now. You see it right there. So if we got hit by that, it would have been an instant minute time loss. You have to redo the entire fight. So very glad that did not happen. All right, and then this section right up here, there's gonna be a really weird quirk of some of the enemies here. So we're gonna take out these enemies, and then these dudes that kind of roll in like droidicas from the Phantom Menace, they just blow up on their own. I don't have to do anything. I just kind of have to stand at a distance here. They'll still even drop stuff
that's
for
nice
whatever reason. Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah. That actually is a very good time save because they will only be vulnerable to bullets when they're attacking you, so it saves a lot of time. Oh.
Those dudes look cool, but never mind, I guess. Yeah.
They're locked in an animation there, so they're really not even an enemy in this run. I mean, casually, you'd probably wait on them. What's up?
I guess I should have asked this earlier, but what's the input sequence like for the melee dash cancels? Like, is it pretty tight, or is it just kind of more like a cadence or a rhythm that you have to meet?
It's definitely a cadence or a rhythm that you just kind of have to just make sure that you just repeat over and over again. Same thing with like slide rolling here. It's just kind of the same issue. Like, not a lot of the movement techniques in this game are super tight. They're just mostly just around you finding a rhythm and everything, and then just being able to repeat it on a dime.
Gotcha. So kind of like stringing together like a sequence of like B-hops or something like that in a Source game or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gotcha.
Everything here is just dying very quickly. Unfortunately, we were able to refill the anti-armor pistol there too. We also skipped a intercom section there by just doing a checkpoint reset, and that's the only one in the game we can actually skip like that. So, pretty convenient. All right. So before we get into this section, we have some time for donations too.
Absolutely. We have a $250 donation from VashTSB that says, love the charity, love the gameplay, and love the couch chemistry. Keep up the great work, and thank you everyone involved for the hard work. Thanks for the donation. And we have a $200 donation from Matt540 that says, much love, grateful for this powerful community. And then we're going to have one more here. This is from Omega Apex, and it's part of a $5 donation train that seems like it's currently going on. And it says, $5 dono train, hashtag just Sam Thing.
Yeah, if I can chime in again too, the Halo 2 bonus game is not tied to any particular incentive, so you can donate to another incentive and it goes toward Halo 2. That Halo 2 run is seriously one of my most anticipated runs of the whole event, and it will be unlocked once we hit 1 million. Please get your donations in for that. It is super duper sick. You have not seen a Halo run like it before. You can trust me on that.
Amen. Also, this is not an optimal strat here, but this is just a strat that I like to do because it's flashy. So
Whoa, it's
Come here,
Terminator.
bud. Ooh.
That looks straight out of MBC3.
That was really good. All right, so some stuff just happened in that cutscene. Essentially, that was the Crystal Viper. What ended up happening is the creature exploded as they were trying to stop a facility from exploding. So because of the way that it exploded, it actually tore a hole in the colony. So right now, Burns and Sam are going to have to go put down like an emergency lockdown in order to make sure that the atmosphere doesn't turn into a vacuum and everything gets sucked out and there's no more oxygen. So that is their priority right now because of the explosion that the Crystal Viper triggered. So that is kind of where they're going, and that's also why we have this really cool section with like the anti-gravity going on.
And just to note, like the anti-gravity in this game actually does like affect. You can see the bullets floating by Sam's gun. It also affects how grenades travel.
Oh, that sound effect.
Oh shoot! I forgot there was another one here for a second. I was getting too antsy. I wanted to move on already.
Yeah. You're also probably wondering the story reason for how they're able to teleport robots. Again, there is no story reason.
Oh,
it's just
so cool.
kind of magical technology stuff.
Okay.
Magical Order of the Russian Star
You
stuff.
keep getting me with that. God dang.
Yeah, this game was actually like not designed to be a single game. It was designed for it to have multiple sequels that might have been able to explain some of the stuff, but it's been about 11 years and we haven't gotten a new game, so I'm not too sure. when
Maybe
next one's gonna
someday.
come out.
There we go. Now we just use the hand grenade there to actually blow all of the debris off of Unknown, so that we can just take him out really quickly.
Marines very conveniently obscuring your field of view to hit those shots.
Right there. Exactly. They're just doing the mostest all the time.
I really do love that by the time the boss's health bar shows up for Unknown, it's already like halfway empty.
Yeah.
Like Cosmic isn't even giving it the chance.
Also, here's my man Degrassi. Definitely not named that way for a specific reason or anything.
I can't think of any.
No, not at all.
Would they really name a character after like a teen drama show?
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah,
But,
that's
It
all.
seems very
that's all I
blatant,
got.
doesn't it? That's strange.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so right now we had another cutscene there. Good news is we had the lockdown put in place, so now we're not going to die of asphyxiation. Bad news is Burns let a lot of people, a lot of the Marines outside there and didn't allow them to get to the safety of the shelters, so they died too. So Sam got even more upset with him, and the story is now that Burns was kind of just hanging back and actually talking to someone. We don't know who, but he was communicating and trying to wait for backup, even though there shouldn't be any backup. So that's why Burns isn't with us, and that's why Sam is leading the Marines alone.
All right, so here's a checkpoint after killing that buzzard there. It just goes down pretty much immediately. This is going to skip a couple of enemy spawns and just get us right to the waves here after the checkpoint reset. And then we're just going to take this down. Take these guys out right here. Take these guys out right there. And then conveniently again, there's another anti-armor pistol refill for us. So we're just gonna take it up here. This hopefully I can get like a damage boost through here. Okay, almost.
Whoa.
If you're
that was
deep
the
enough
opposite of
in
that.
Oh,
yeah, if you get deep enough in that bubble, you can actually just be pushed out the other side, and it saves a little bit of time. All right, and here we go. Cool. And then we got to lay down 2 more high explosives here because we're going to take out the barricade that's preventing the Marines from crossing right now.
Was that a different
That was
slide
some-
animation?
Yeah, well, that was weird because it was on his knees, but he was like pointing in the opposite direction.
It looked really cool.
do you think Sam is like just having the time of his life sliding around like that, or do you think he's like super kind of battle focused? Because honestly, like that just looks so fun to do.
How could you not have fun doing that? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's like he's probably pretty focused, but at the same time, he's probably like thinking in the back of his mind, like, man, this dude's kind of nice.
Yeah. Again, this is Sam's first time. Like Metal Gear Solid 2, he has had VR training, but this is like his first real, like, actual combat experience. So I would say he's doing a pretty good job for it being his first time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I am observing this is another turret section.
I didn't want to say anything, so, you know. I was hoping that we could just glaze over it one last time.
I'm sensing a pattern.
Perhaps. Hopefully things don't take a turret for the worse.
Oh man.
How long have you been sitting on that?
Exactly 5 seconds.
Okay, because I remember last time you said you didn't have a pun for it, so I thought maybe you figured it out and you were like, I am saving this specifically for when Brad brings up turrets again.
No, actually, I don't know. Something just, it's like just a light bulb moment, dude. You know, it's just like,
Yeah. Okay, so there's a cutscene coming up in here. Basically, if you guys remember, we haven't talked about him since the beginning of the game, which is literally pretty much what happens in the story as well. Professor Francois Candide, he was the guy who helped train Sam. He made the suit. He made the energy array. Good news is we're gonna be running back into him again soon. But first, we have to go into the control room. And I'm sure we're not going to run into any familiar face or anything like that. You know, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of enemies on the other side of this room that are going to be very dangerous. Oh, that was it? Oh, sweet.
A couple dudes. Nothing doing,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, that was a little bit anticlimactic.
Oh! And we just throw down an EMP grenade on this guy, and here he goes. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Look at you.
You know, that guy was much more dangerous than Terminator 2, not gonna lie.
I agree, wholeheartedly.
Maybe Sam is just that powerful.
I mean, he does have that suit.
True. We got time for one more donation section here before we get into the end of the game. One quick donation.
One quick donation. This is a $25 donation from True G33K that says, I am totally at a loss for what I'm watching right now. I guess this is called Sam Things? Regardless, let's get that Streets of Rage glitch exhibition incentive met coming up a little bit later on in the marathon.
Very cool. All right, so right now, Burns has gotten himself into a little bit of an ambush. So Sam sends the rest of the Marines to Burns because he figures, you know, like, well, we gotta, you know, help him out, everything, what's going on. And then there's a cutscene here, Demonic, I think, that happens as well.
Yes. So the good news is we finally complete Sam's objective. We finally find Professor Francois Candide. And Professor Francois is attempting to destroy something. However, Burns has been revealed to be the betrayer in the government. And not only that,
no way.
We're gonna
yeah, it really burns that he would do this to us. But not only that, he's actually working with the President of the United States in order to cause a war. And that's where the help to the Russian Star came in. They helped the Russian Star take over the Russian government, and then they betrayed us. So essentially, to make the United States financially, like, wealthy again by profiting off of war, they essentially caused San Francisco to be destroyed. So now that Sam knows this and knows that Burns is going to attempt to use the microwave energy array beam on Moscow, we have to stop him from actually doing that, while also destroying the beam itself because he killed the professor. So overall, very much the classic betrayal.
Can't believe Burns was an imposter among us the whole time.
He was a little sus, yeah. I mean, I would have just immediately been like, "You're kind of sus, dude," after you left those dudes behind. But I guess that kind of...
I looked at him, and I thought, that's a sussy baka right there.
They should have just voted him out the airlock, honestly.
Although I guess I'm kind of sus for what I did to the robots, and I have a robot on my couch, so...
I mean, what is even more sus is the fact that we have another auto-scroller here.
That's true, too. True. We can take a quick smoke break, though. Something that I do want to touch on, though, you do see that I did invest some points into the assault rifle here. And this is mostly just to make sure that I have a lot of ammo in the gun before we get to this point, so that you can really just dump it into Burns during this auto-scroller. Because this auto scroller, while it you know, it's kind of irritating that it's here, we can actually bring his health down very far here, and then we can force him through a couple of rooms to the last area so we can just finish him quickly. So it is actually kind of helpful in the run that it's there. So what we're gonna do here is we're just gonna slide on through, throw a grenade. Again, it goes off after I get hit.
We're also gonna have this my favorite cutscene that's gonna be popping up. I'll tell it now because we won't have much time for the end of the run. After we defeat Burns, it turns out he says that he's not the bad guy anymore. And not only does he allow Sam to escape and stops trying to kill him, but he also kills his fellow Marines in order to allow Sam to escape and blows himself up along with the other Marines so they don't chase him down, so he can defeat Zaitsev. So I don't know what the point of him trying to kill us was, but here we are fighting the final boss.
I don't know. This is supposedly Viktor Zaitsev. He's apparently in one of these bogies, so we just got to take both of them out and then just hope for the best here.
Is this like kind of like the end of a Dishonored 2 run where it's RNG whether he's in the first or second?
Fortunately, no. He's always in the second one that we try and that we have to kill. So
okay,
we're gonna see here. We're gonna get the nice.
Oh, here we go.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers here.
I really wish that we had that like sick guitar riff from the theme song.
Falcon Punch. And now that Bogey Bravo is a resident of Duff City, we are going to have to take out Bogey Alpha. Wrong one, I'm afraid.
You know, bravo to you, Cosmic. That was a really good joke.
Because I'm an alpha, dude.
Oh, okay.
All right, so coming up here is going to be time in about 30 seconds or so. I just have to do one last QTE.
Yeah. Thankfully, you have a lane to turn off your safety inhibitors.
And we have to do some QTEs here. Boom.
Whoa, first person.
Yeah, it's really weird change of pace. All right, so
wow.
Here we go. And
oh, there we go.
Time. All right,
Very
so
good.
GG, dude.
That is Vanquish, any % casual with DLC. Wow, what a run. RTA wise, this was actually a PB for me. I don't know how that happened, but
really, let's go.
I don't think it was. I don't think it was an IGT PB, but yeah. So that was a 125.09, and my RTA is though we don't go by RTA. My RTA is a 125.55. So yeah, that was a thing. So thank you so much, GDQ, for having me, despite my terrible puns and jokes. Much love to the event and to Doctors Without Borders. Such a great cause. I'm so glad to be able to show this game off. It has been a long time since it's been here. It's just an honor, and I really want to thank my couch as well. You guys have been phenomenal throughout the process of practicing for this run and everything, and just prepping for all that stuff. And I know this run is, there's a lot going on, so it was a big process, and I just want to thank you both so much for being here.
Dude, of course. Thank you so much for having me. I'm always like, anytime I get asked to be on the couch, I'm always very honored. So just being a part of anything like this is always such a pleasure. So yeah, thank you so much for having me. Seriously.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was an amazing run to watch, and I'm really proud of how well you did. That was absolutely insane.
Okay, so if you want to watch more Vanquish and watch a lot of Devil May Cry, I play a lot of Devil May Cry. You can find me at twitch.tv/DECosmic, and on YouTube, I'm DECosmic Runs. So that's really about it for me. Again, thank you so much, GDQ, for having me. It's been awesome.
What a run, folks, from DECosmic playing Vanquish that I am now officially going to add to my wish list of games I'm going to purchase next. What a game, what a run, what a couch. Everything going well, folks. We have a $250 donation from Littlest Minish that says, DECosmic is killing this excellent platinum game. It's a joy to watch, and I totally agree with that. But we can't lose sight of tonight's goal, Halo 2. I've seen the audience crush bigger goals in half the time, but it takes us showing up in force. Let's keep it going until we hit $1 million. I believe in us, chat. So let's get this dono train going. We are now at $813,000 and climbing. We need $1 million to reach that Halo 2 incentive. I know we can do it, folks. You are making it happen right now. Thank you so much for showing up. We're going to take a quick break, but we will be right back right after this. And welcome back to Summer Games Done Quick 2021 online. My name is LattMackey. That is going to be it for me, folks. Thank you so much, chat, for showing up for that Vanquish run. Let's keep the dono train going. As for me, I'm going to pass the mic off over to Keizaron, who's got an interview with PulseEffects and Swiftalu coming up. Keys, take it away. Take it away.
You're muted.
You're muted.
I was muted. Hello. Haha. Okay. I'm professional at this. Yeah, cool. Anyway, welcome back. I'm just crossing my arms in embarrassment here. I'm joined by PulseEffects and I'm joined by Swiftalu. How are you both doing today?
I woke up from a nap.
Oh yeah,
I
you
need more
took a nap.
coffee.
I'm kind of jealous because Swift was able to take a nap before all of this. I'm gonna cheat a little bit this interview. I could ask you all, the usual questions and whatever the hell else comes out of my mouth. But I'm actually gonna let social media take over for most of this because anyone that doesn't know, I'm going to be on the virtual couch for you two. So I want to try my hardest not to spoil too much, and also so I have something to talk about. So we're just going to jump right into social media. This is going to be from @Grenisect. To the both of you, what got you both into speedrunning?
I'll let Swift go first.
Oh, okay. So funny enough, I watched AGDQ 2019 pretty much that entire week, and I got really inspired after the Super Mario Odyssey run to join the community and like see what's going on. And later on, as I continued watching that speedrun, I was like, wow, this looks fun. I want to speedrun a Pokemon game. And then I picked red.
What a mistake. What is
I
wrong?
know.
All right, Pulse, give
Ooh.
me a better story. Give me a better story.
All right. So when I first started doing a little bit of Pokemon content creation, I actually started off with like Wi-Fi battles and such. And eventually I got tired of that. Started doing some Nuzlocks, got tired of that. And eventually I found my way to Pokemon Crystal.
Another
Slight-
mistake.
Yeah, slightly better answer though.
Yeah,
Not red.
Barely. Did you spill water or did you spill juice on the carpet? That's basically what I just heard. Going back to some more questions we got from @LeJug3 to the both of you again. What is your favorite Pokemon and what's the thing that makes you love it?
Female Wobbuffets, specifically because like Wobbuffet's hilarious in the anime, but female Wobbuffet, she has that big lipstick. it's so good.
Mine
you
would
switch?
have to. Yeah, sorry. Mine would
It's
have
okay.
to be Eevee, which is kind of
What?
funny.
No way. I would
Yeah,
have never.
no way.
What?
Wait, Eevee? What? I never saw that coming. And it's because of Mystery Dungeon, actually. I got Eevee in the quiz when I first played Mystery Dungeon, and it was first try. And I played through the game, and I cried, and I got really attached to it.
All right, going back to some more questions. This is from @SuperJustinBros. What are your preferred Pokemon generations to speedrun, if any?
Honestly, Gen 3, I would say. Just
But
because
that's where Fire Red is.
I'm going back to it, by the way.
No,
No!
love yourself. What are you doing?
But yeah, Generation 3, I would say, is like one of the better ones, specifically because of the manipulation.
Mhm.
Having like a way easier time to like actually get in and like actually play the game is, I just love it. Also, Coliseum. Coliseum is amazing. Speedrun. Love it.
This might come as a shocker, but I'd have to say Gen 5.
I don't even know why I'm asking you questions anymore. Everything's so awesome. You got to throw a curveball for us.
Okay, well, I do like Gen 1, I know.
I
Kick me
don't
out
throw
if you want.
curveballs ever again. I hate that answer. All right, here's your chance to throw a better curveball. We got @2shy asking, if you were a gym leader, what type would you be?
Steel. Definitely Steel. Steel's awesome.
I'd have to go with electric. I love electric types.
I'm gonna call you Madam Surge from now on.
Sounds good.
The next two questions are actually pretty similar enough, so I'm gonna ask them both. We have from @laserglow_, which is which part of the game is scariest, and then also from @conceptionsr, which is what is the one battle that you're worried about the most during the run?
I think Berg we agreed on, right?
Yeah, I was
Oh.
about to say, Berg.
Berg is absolutely terrifying. We'll explain when you get there, which you guys should absolutely tune into when it comes, and you guys should tune into the fight. It's really intense, very
It is
intense.
the worst fight in the game.
And then we got @fireblind133 asking, what's the most difficult part about running Pokemon games? And I always love hearing this answer from different runners because a lot of times it's the similar answer, but then there's also like some nuances based on like how many different games they've ran, what generation they run the most. So really excited to hear this one.
You want to go Swift on this one?
I'd have to say just trying to put up with the RNG. However, the worst contender for me is trying to extend the manipulation. Like, I've done Crystal a little bit, I've done White 2, and I have temporarily stopped those games because the extended manipulation was just killing me. And it's really hard to be able to move past that because I'm the type of person who likes to finish a lot of runs rather than reset a bunch.
I think for me in particular, somewhat similar answer, but I think more so picking the game that you want to stick to because like they're all Pokemon speedruns are super similar, but like they have like so many like randomly really good things about them that make them fun. So like in particular, like Fire Red Leaf Green, full of intensity. You could die at any second. I love that stuff personally. Gen 5, just the smoothness of it's fantastic. Gen 7 cutscenes. You get restroom breaks.
Oh boy, well, that's a true point though. It's a true point.
But yeah, it's just like different games. Hard to pick.
And then the last question, and this is the most important question of them all. This is from @KUB. Will you pet the doggy at the end of the run?
I don't
I'll
think
pet the Eevee if we get some donations.
the only way to pet the dog is to transfer it up to Sword and Shield.
Well, you better find a way to do it quick for the fans, or else you're gonna be public enemy number one.
It's okay. Just don't tell them I already have one in Sword and Shield. Shh.
It's the same one I'm using today, I promise. Well, anyway, thank you two for taking the time to talk to little old me. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it back up to our new host, Prolix. I'm Keizaron, that's Pulse and Swift, and we'll see you all later.
In the first age, in the first battle, when the shadows first lengthened,